Hello, and welcome to the show. Today, we're going to take a look at MV Advancements. Perhaps you know them better by their former name, Mid-Valley Rehabilitation. And to take that look today, I have with me two very special people. If you know them, I know you're going to enjoy getting to know them better, and if you don't know them, it's time you do. So first of all, it's so nice to have you with me. Thank you. Kathy Schlotfeldt, the Executive Director of Mid-Valley Advancements, and Dave Haugeberg of Haugeberg, Reuter, Gowell, Fredericks, and Higgins. And also, I just want to give a bit of your resume. I know people that know you know that you've been a part of a lot of what's been going on in McMinnville for many years, and most recently forming the endowment. What is that name of that?
The McMinnville Area Community Foundation, Ken.
Right, which makes grants to all kinds of philanthropic efforts and organizations. Well, thank you. Thank you for being here. Well, let's just start with a brief definition. MV Advancements. Tell us what that is.
Great. Ken, the purpose of MV Advancements is to assist persons with disabilities to develop to their highest potential and to achieve fulfilling lives.
Develop to their highest potential and achieve fulfilling lives.
Yes.
These are people that need help doing that.
That is correct.
That's quite a mission.
It is. We've been doing it for nearly 50 years.
50 years. Well, let's take a look at some of that history then. Let's go back. Dave, you've been president since 1976. 1976.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think you're probably a good person to ask about history then.
Well, I'd be delighted to. MV Advancements, and let's go back because you talked about Mid-Valley Rehabilitations. Originally it was Mid-Valley Workshop.
Okay.
It was formed in 1966 by really three people, a lady in McMinnville by the name of Margaret Revis, later Margaret Revis Larson, Ezra and Vita Kilmer. Ezra and Vita had a son who had some significant developmental disabilities and needed employment opportunities, and they couldn't find any, and Margaret Revis Larson also knew of others that had the same kinds of challenges, and so they got together and said, well, as a community, Ken, we can do better. We'll create opportunities for the people that don't have employment to become employed. And so they did that. And what they found is take John Kilmer, for example, when they get their first check and they've got a job that's meaningful and they're doing something important, their lives light up, their eyes light up, and all the people around them have tears in their eyes for this extraordinary accomplishment of enhancing that person's life. So they started in Amity at the old Studebaker garage with holes in the roof and leaking and almost no money. They started with about $700 and they started putting programs together, and Ezra and Vita basically worked for nothing. Margaret didn't get anything for pay, and they put together this extraordinary organization, and starting in Amity, then they moved into facilities in McMinnville. Later, the building there, before you get to Amity on the right, and then it continued to grow. And as opportunities came along the years, the board decided that we would look for places and ways to not only enhance clients' lives and employment, but in living and in community involvement. And so that's how it all came about, to the passion and vision of people that said, as a community, we can do better, Ken.
Just a few people had a vision. And that was in where it started?
1966.
66, and you came along maybe 9 years later. And
I actually joined the board in 1972, but Margaret always was looking for somebody that could help her and create a board, and she didn't have any money, and so she said, David, I need a lawyer, and I don't have any money, and you're it. And I've been blessed to be a part of this organization ever since.
Holding that vision and carrying it forward.
Yes.
Thank you. That's great. So history, I think you brought a slide. And maybe, Mike, would you bring that up? Tell us what we're going to see here.
I think probably the first workshop in Amity, and then some other very early days
Actually,
of
what we've
photos.
got up is services.
Oh,
Let's just take a look at this
great.
slide right now.
Okay, super. So we serve over 225 clients, and we employ over 160 employees to support those clients. We provide services, employment services, residential services, and community inclusion services. We also own and operate Serendipity Ice Cream on 3rd Street, which I'm sure many people in McMinnville and Yamhill County are very familiar with. We established that in the year 2000, so we'll be celebrating our 15-year anniversary with Serendipity. We also operate a wood products division in Amity, which was really the beginning of Mid-Valley Rehabilitation and the workshop, and it has transformed through the years, and we provide a lot of custom products to the wine industry, to customers in Portland. So a lot of specialized products are produced there by our clients who have disabilities.
That's a lot. Let's focus in on just one of these
Sure.
things that really catches my eye. Serendipity, the ice cream shop.
Yeah.
For years, I went and got ice cream there. I had no idea that it was connected to Mid-Valley Rehabilitation or whatever it was, Mid-Valley Workshop. I just went there to buy ice cream.
Right.
So now I come to find out that ever since it began, it was being staffed by people that are the clients of Mid-Valley MB Advancements, giving them an opportunity to serve the public, to be out. Tell me how that works at the store. How many clients do you have there employed right now, do you think?
We have about 8 clients on a part-time basis who work, various shifts throughout the week. It's interesting, Ken, because I asked the very same question when I moved to town, and I had no idea that Serendipity was anything other than an ice cream shop on 3rd Street. And so as I inquired of the staff at MV Advancements, the story, apparently the former executive director felt that people wouldn't want to come into the establishment if they knew that, we were employing individuals with disabilities. I think the world's changed a lot in 15 years.
Yeah.
I think that, the community has embraced us. And I think, again, we want to get the word out that, people can have a disability and still be employable and, and make a difference in the communities that they live and work. So I think Serendipity is a great example of that for our organization and for others.
Now, dealing with the public, that's a high standard for someone to be able to maintain. And that's wonderful that they're given that opportunity, and also to be with people.
Right.
Because I hear in times past that what was done for people with developmental disabilities was shelter them. Can you talk about some of that history about how it used to be before 1967?
Well, truly one of the things that motivated Margaret and Ezra and Vita and their efforts to change and enhance lives was the picture that you saw in Salem, Oregon, and the state hospital where so many of these people with developmental disabilities were kept. I knew some families that had them there at Fairview, and it was just a sad commentary on how a person should live their lives. And so MV Advancements made a conscious decision to say, how do we bring those people to McMinnville? How do we make them clients? And then if we do, what do they do? How do they begin to enhance the lives of the client? And so we looked at a lot of opportunities. Now, originally you could call the workshop in Amity a sheltered workshop. That may be what it was, but there weren't any other opportunities for employment in the communities, so we created our own businesses to provide employment opportunities. And at the same time, and we'll talk a little later as we talk about the current work opportunities, about how that has evolved. But originally we said if nobody else will find a job for them, we'll make an opportunity for them to enhance their lives and to work. And we brought in other people in Amity to work with them that didn't have developmental disabilities and worked right along beside of them to integrate them as much as we could into a community at that time that was not very accepting. And so that's how it started, and it's evolved into a tremendous different program.
I'm hearing some pioneer spirit here. I'm seeing that there's ground unbroken, and by golly, we're going to break it. We're going to clear this ground, and we're going to get something to grow here. Congratulations. So, just putting it simply, instead of living in Fairview, people work at Serendipity Ice Cream Store.
Right? And
that's a huge change.
That is huge, and we'll be talking, I know, about this as well, Ken, about, employment first and, community jobs for our clients as well. So I think from 1966 to 2015, we've come a long way. I also will say we have a long way to go as far as acceptance for our clients in the workplace and in our communities. But you know what? We have a great board of directors and a great management team. And you know what? This is just the beginning.
And Ken, I would add to that, one of the challenges then that happened is we brought people out of Fairview and we looked for opportunities for employment. We needed to look for opportunities for where would they live.
Right.
And so we pioneered what would be called the group homes right here in McMinnville. It was not an easy challenge to gain community acceptance, but this is a loving and caring community, and we did that. We now have 5 or 6 group homes and apartments in McMinnville where we provide opportunities for people that don't have to live in Salem in an institutional environment to live on their own. And Kathy can talk about the staff that we have that helps them in their living opportunities to be as independent as they can be.
That's exactly.
It is a loving and caring community, and I think it needed the encouragement of Mid-Valley Rehabilitation. And I know, Dave, when you set your mind to something, it goes forward. And I think you encouraged our community to be loving and caring for these people, and I think that's a great thing you've done. Well, we've covered history pretty well. I think another thing that we need to talk about is what I opened the show with, MB Advancements, formerly Mid-Valley Rehabilitation. So there's been a rebranding. Why?
Well, let me tell you why I think that came about. As you talked about the history, we started out as Mid-Valley Workshop. That was a name that really didn't fit very well what we do. You can find the use of the name Mid-Valley all over the region. So many years ago, it was changed to Mid-Valley Rehabilitation. And I think over the years, one of the things that you learn from experience is that people said rehabilitation. Oh, so is that physical? I mean, is it physical therapy? Is it, what kind of abuse is it? And a lot of things. And so for some years, the board has thought, and our executive team has thought, that was not a name that really appropriately identified what our mission and goal is. Kathy came along, joined the board, and we put together a group, and she's going to talk about how that happened. But the board was convinced that we needed to have a name that represented what we do in terms of advancing people's lives, enhancing lives. And so that's why we changed the name to MV Advancements. And Kathy could talk about how that happened.
Right. So there was a board retreat, and this was discussed as far as, a need for a new name that reflected the work that we do in the community today, not the work that we did 15 years ago. And so we embarked on this process. And the thing that continually came up as we were discussing the work that we do was the amount of love that our staff and management team have for the clients that we serve, and our belief in our clients that the sky is the limit. And so, the word advancements is about growth, it's about development, it's about potential. So we think it really captures the work that we do, in all of the facets of the services that we provide. From my perspective, I think our logo, the heart and the upward arrow, is really the significant piece of displaying in a very visual way that we do this work with love in our hearts because we know the sky is the limit for our clients. And my hope is that everyone in Yamhill County, when they see the heart and the arrow, they will know MV Advancements just by the logo. So.
And there's the logo's on the screen. Who developed that logo?
We hired 237 Marketing, Krista McCollum and her firm, and she walked us through. She was an awesome leader, and really helped us discover what the heart and soul of our organization was, which, again, the name and the logo all signify the work that we do. She did a great job.
It is beautiful. All right. So, rebranding, a new logo, a new name. Are you presenting a new face to the community at all, and how you present what you do?
I often say that I think we're one of the best kept secrets in Yamhill County. We're by far the largest nonprofit. We serve 225 clients. We have 160 employees, and we do a lot of good work in the community. But we've had a lot of new people move to Yamhill County, to McMinnville, that don't know about the work that we do. And so we're really working on getting our message out there. So we appreciate opportunities like this today, Ken, to get the word out about the work that we do and how people in the community can support us in new and different ways. I think we're also going to talk about Employment First, which is a huge initiative for us, and it had something to do with the rebranding as well, as far as our messaging. So. But at any rate, again, I think opportunities to get the word out about the work that we do is so important.
Let me back up. You covered a lot of ground just then. And
Sure.
one thing that I just stuck on was 160 employees, 225 clients, 160 employees. There aren't many other employers in town with that many, and like you said, it probably makes you the largest nonprofit. I think you brought some pictures with you of some folks, and maybe Mike, could you bring up that next slide? Tell us who these people are.
Yes, this is one of our employees and one of our clients on 3rd Street. I think this may be right outside the Sage Restaurant on 3rd Street. This was a photo shoot during our rebranding when we were building our website. We took a lot of photos at a lot of locations, and this is just one of many.
So I don't know, maybe there's privacy issues, but that client, does she works as an employee?
She does. She works at the Sage Restaurant.
Okay.
Cindy at the Sage employs 5 clients, and she has great stories to tell about, what a great experience that has been for her and her team, and I'm happy to tell you more about that.
Okay, I do want to hear about what's this picture we have up here?
This is Brittany at the Sage Restaurant, and it looks like she's making bread this day, but she does a lot of different tasks. And this is just one of many.
Okay, I just want to get back to that 160 employees. Seeing them at work, seeing them, I think you've already talked about seeing them get a paycheck. What's that like?
You know, there's so many great stories of clients and work and the difference that it makes in their lives. My very first week at MV Advancements in July, I sat in on a team meeting with one of our clients out at Wood Products, Matt O. And Matt has been a builder at Wood Products, has done a great job for us for about 7 years, but he was interested in a community job. And what came up during this team meeting that he was having that I observed was his desire to give back to the community. He felt like he had been, enriched by the community and wanted to find a job where he could give back. Probably about 4 or 5 weeks later, one of our employment specialists that was working with him found him a job at a local company, Sweeprite, here in McMinnville, and he is now doing litter patrol in several different parking lots. And he decided to keep 1 day a week at Wood Products just to kind of make sure that this whole community job was going to work out for him. And 2 weeks ago was his last day at Wood Products. So he is working in the community, and he came into our 5th Street office about maybe 2 weeks ago, and he is so confident, and he smiles, he says hello. It's really changed his life. He's talking about getting an apartment in McMinnville, buying a new truck, saving for the future. So that really is what a job in the community can mean. The fact that it happens so quickly is just amazing.
Buying a truck, saving for the future.
Yeah.
As opposed to living out of the community, sheltered, tucked away, out of sight, out of mind.
That's exactly right.
That's a huge difference. You have 225 residents. No, clients. How many residents in the area here?
We have about 50 residential clients, and some of those clients we serve with other services, employment or community inclusion services as well, but 50 residential clients.
So the 3 areas of service are employment, residential, and community inclusion.
Right.
Can we talk a little bit about what that looks like?
Absolutely. So community inclusion is a program that we have had since about the early 80s. And this program allows clients to come and participate in a lot of fun activities. They may go bowling, they may go to the beach for the day, they may go to the zoo, they may just, go to lunch. Here in McMinnville, but they have a lot of different options. We also, within the last couple months, have added a training feature where we're going to offer a book club for them, and art class, and they've kind of brainstormed that things that they're really interested in. So we're really building on that program and that success. We're also looking for volunteers to help us in that program because I think you said earlier how relationships are really important. They're very important to our clients. So it's just a great alternative to employment for those who choose not to seek employment.
Greeters was held at MV Advancements
Yes,
not
it
long ago,
was.
the Chamber of Commerce Greeters. I was there, and you have a great front room.
Yes.
And we met clients. Were there Bobby, who ran for Biggest Turkey?
Bobby Lee.
Yep.
Bobby Lee. I want to ask about that, but that's a whole other story, I bet. But just pass on to him my congratulations and my
Absolutely.
respect for. That is quite a step to take up in front of the community. To take that step to run for Biggest Turkey, I think it would give most of us pause
Yes.
to say, yes, I'm going to do that. And to see him do that and do so well was a wonderful inspiration to me, and I imagine for the public to appreciate what you're doing and the people that you're serving. So that was a beautiful thing. This round of Biggest Turkey.
Thank you. We have another client who's very interested in participating next year, so we may have to hold some kind of a talent competition so that we can, be fair about how we select the next person. But no, I think it's good exposure for Bobby and for our clients, and it was a lot of fun.
That large front meeting room, how is that used? Can people stop by if they wanted to? Tell us where it is, first of all.
It's on Adams Street, around 14th and Adams, I think.
Right across from?
Payne West. It's right next door to Payne West
Next
Insurance.
to Payne West. So if people dropped in and said, hi, I'm just here to learn more about MB Advancements, would they be welcome?
Yeah, they would be welcome. I think what I would suggest, though, we have a volunteer coordinator, and so if they call our Fifth Street office, we can put them in contact with Mary Peterson, and she can give them more information. We can arrange a tour. Oftentimes, they're out and about, so if you just stop by, there might not be anyone there. So we would definitely want to prepare, but people are always welcome to visit, absolutely.
Okay, so the Fifth Street office is still open. So
It
that's
is.
your kind of your storefront to volunteers.
That absolutely is.
And the one over next to Payne West, tell me more about what that facility is for.
So that's the community inclusion services that we were talking about.
Okay.
So it's where the clients meet in the morning and then plan their day and again, do whatever activities that are planned. Yes.
All right, what a great center that you didn't have before for that.
Yes, no, absolutely. It's been a great move, that facility, and I think we have a vision about what more could happen, with that particular program, but as I continually say, one step at a time.
Employment First. I know that's something is that a new program, or tell us what that is.
So Ken, we talked a little bit about as we opened that first facility in Amity, the workshop, and let's talk about how that transitioned, because about 25 years ago, the board in its retreat started looking at what percentage of our clients were actively employed. And at that point, we were just looking employed wherever it might be, whether it was in the community or in our own businesses and facilities. And we said we're at about 50%. And what we knew is we could do a lot better. We were not pleased that meant 50% of our clients didn't have a really a meaningful program or employment during the day. So we set a goal that we needed to be at 75 to 80%. Now keep in mind, this is at a time when the rest of the world wasn't even talking about a lot of this, long before people thought of employment first, which is where we were. And so we set about doing that. Well, we couldn't find enough employment opportunities in the community to fill that. So we created serendipity. We've talked about that. But what we wanted was an opportunity for our clients to work in a work setting side by side with people who didn't have a disability. And most importantly, what it provided was an opportunity for our clients to grow and to get the training so that they could go to work at Safeway or at McDonald's or a lot of other opportunities. And so it was really our training ground as opposed to this is an end of all things, that once you're here, you're there. That was not what we wanted. And so that's how it all started, and we have been very successful in that. And that leads us then to Employment First.
So Employment First, as Dave said, is not a new initiative for MV Advancements. It certainly is a new initiative for the state, and it started in around 2008. And this is a nationwide movement, so this is not just the state of Oregon. And the purpose was to support people with disabilities to find integrated community jobs. And so the state is prioritizing community employment. And again, we've done this work. We now are doing this work on a much more broad basis. This year we have placed 12 individuals in community jobs, which is more than we normally would do in a whole year. And so we will continue to look for opportunities, and the process is very extensive, from discovery through job development, through supports. And I think the great thing about Employment First is that it provides us an opportunity to not just drop off an individual at a business and say, here you go, right? We make sure that that individual, their strengths and talents and their desires, just as in the example of Matt O, that they're going to be successful in this job, and we support them as they, as they do their work and, ensure that they're going to be successful, and they turn out to be great clients. Cindy at Sage says that, Brittany's her best employee, not because she has a disability, but she shows up every day, she has a positive attitude. So it's really great when it's a good match, and everybody, it's a win-win.
You were the guest speaker at Noon Rotary today.
Yes.
And there was a phrase that jumped out at me, that these clients are not employed, they're employed because of their ability.
Not because of their disability.
And that's what you were just expressing.
That is exactly right. That, again, and sometimes it means that we have to carve out a job, that someone doesn't do every aspect of a particular job, but they're particularly good. Brittany is particularly good at washing dishes, and she loves it. So we've carved out that job for her, and she does other things as well. But again, when you find that right fit, it makes all of the difference, and they do become valuable members of any business, and have a positive impact on morale as well. So when we talk about it being a win-win, it's also a win from the other employees kind of rallying around and supporting those individuals as well, and they are able to build relationships in the community. So again, to not overuse the word life-changing, but it is life-changing.
Well, Kathy, I have a good feeling for what you do, and I have a good feeling about what you do, but I want to ask both of you how you came to this work. And I know, Dave, before we were talking about what came to you from your parents, from your mother in particular, what you were handed, come about your philosophy on why this work is so important to you. Would you share that?
Well, I was raised in a family with a tradition of doing things for others, not just for yourself. My mother, on her 100th birthday a year and a half ago, had been one who had founded an open table for feeding homeless people in Hermiston, and on her 100th birthday, she wouldn't go to her own birthday party that day until she and my wife and I went to help do that. So, my mom taught us a tradition in our family of service to humanity is the best work of life, and what better place could you find than at MV Advancements?
Wow, well said. And Kathy, I know today you shared at Noon Rotary about your own family and how this work is very personal to you. Would you share that with us?
Absolutely. I have a brother, Wally, who will be 60 years old next month. He was deprived of oxygen at birth, and as a result has mobility issues and probably has a vocabulary of 50 words or so. One of the things, every time I talk with him, he talks to me about work. And so work is really important for everyone, including people with disabilities. But because of my brother, I'm here today. If it weren't for Wally, I would not have the passion for the work that we do, and I understand it at a much deeper level. So I'm very grateful for that.
So this is no accident, you two here at the table today. This is really a testimony to the passion that you bring. I want to thank you for that. Just in the last, 20 seconds, would you tell us how people could get involved?
Absolutely. As I mentioned, volunteer. Connect us with businesses who might be willing to employ a client, or even just talk to us about what that opportunity might look like. Go to our website. We, as part of our rebranding, have updated our website. There's a lot of great information. Yeah, but get involved. Call us. Come to our facilities. We'd love to have you.
Yep.
Thank you. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And thank you for being here today. I as usual, I am inspired, and I hope you are too. Let's go to work for MV Advancements. Thanks for watching.